welcome. You should be on page 6 of your pre-algebra quarter 3 notebook. In this video, we're going to continue talking about angle relationships. In numbers 4 through 7, what we're doing is we're deciding if each example represents complementary, supplementary, or vertical angles. And then we'll find the value of x in numbers 4 through 7. So it looks like numbers 8 and 9, I do not have to find the value of x. So let's look at number 4. If I look at number 4, I have 150 and I have an x, and they fall along a straight line. So this tells me that they are supplementary angles. So part 1, done. I have decided what they represent. Now to find angle x, I need to know that 150 plus x will equal 180. And if I use stay and go, then I know x stays, 150 goes as negative, 180 stays as positive, and x will equal negative 150 plus 30, plus 180, which is 30, or 180 minus 150, and x equals 30 degrees. So I've got two answers here. They are supplementary angles, and it's 30 degrees. Now in number 5, I can see that this is a right angles, and remember, complements are always right, so these are complementary angles. So I have defined what type of angles I see in number 5, and I know that complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So 40 plus x must equal 90 degrees. Now if I stay and go, 40 will go as negative 40, x stays, and 90 stays as a positive 90. And what I know is if negative 40 plus 90, or 90 minus 40, is 50 degrees. So x is 50 degrees. Let's look at number 6. And I can see again, these two angles are along a straight line, the angles I'm looking at. So they are supplementary angles. So I have determined what type of angles I see. And then I need to look and know that supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So 135 plus x will equal 180. Again, I'll go back to my stay and go. 135 goes as negative 135, x stays, and 180 stays as a positive 180. And I can either do negative 135 plus 180 or 180 minus 135, and I will get x equals 45 degrees. Let's take a look at number 7, and I can see that I've got a V for vertical and an A for angle. So these are vertical angles. Now remember, vertical angles are congruent. So angle x will equal 55 degrees because it is the same measure of its vertical angle. Now, numbers 8 and 9, I'm not solving for x. I'm just trying to figure out what type of angles I've got. These are clearly not vertical angles, or they would be the same measurement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 15 plus 75 to see what I get. And my pen is running out, which is rather sad, but I'll get the 5 in. Okay, 15, I'm going to use my calculator, 15 plus 75. That equals 90 degrees. So because these two angles together equal 90 degrees, they are complementary angles. Because a complement is always right. Now, let's take a look at these next two angles. I know, again, they're definitely not vertical angles, but I can see that I've got two measures. I'm going to add them. If I add 110 plus 70, I will get 180. 180 degrees represents supplementary angles. So we have just identified what types of angle relationships we see, and we have determined, using our understanding of those relationships, missing values. Now, question number 10 asks, which angles above show adjacent angles? Now remember, adjacent means next to, neighbors, joining angles, same side, or a common side. So let's take a look at angles that have common sides. Well, it looks like this angle have a common side, so number 4. These two angles have a common side, so I would say number 5. These two angles have a common side, so number 6. Vertical angles are not adjacent. They're opposite, so they're never going to be adjacent. These two are two angles, and they add up to 90 degrees, but they do not have a common side, nor do the two angles in number 9. So it's just numbers 4, 5, and 6. Alrighty, next up in this video, we're going to bring in some parallel lines and see how that helps us identify some angle relationships. So let's just take a look at this figure below, because I'm going to be answering questions 11, 12, and 13 with this figure. And I can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got two parallel lines and an intersecting line. Well, what type of angles have we learned about? We've learned about vertical angles, and I can see a VA, a VA, a VA, a VA. So I definitely have a lot of vertical angles here. I also have straight line here, straight line here, straight line here, straight line here. So I also have supplementary angles. I do not see any of the boxes that would represent and clearly identify right angles, so there don't seem to be any complementary, but I have a lot of angles with common sides, so there are definitely adjacent angles in this diagram too. So with that in mind, let's take a look at number 11. Angles 5 and 6 represent what? So here's angle 5, here's 6. They are along a straight line. That means they are supplementary. Straight line. Angle 7, I want to look for what is the vertical angle to angle 7. Here's angle 7. Common vertex is angle 6. And what angles are adjacent to angle 1? So which ones are next to? Common side. That's supposed to be an exclamation point. So here's angle 1. I see that angle 2, they share this side. And I see that angle 3 also shares a side with angle 1. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.